we're going to get started. And before we do that, what I'd like to do is bring up our president, Dr. Gregory Washington, and he's going to have a few remarks and talk a little bit about the spirit of the event today. President Washington.
Isn't it fantastic to be here today, in person, engaged with everyone? Look, first and foremost, thank you for your service. You know, you got the guy, I'm doing this 20 to 50 year service, and I'm the person with the least amount of service in the room. It is what it is. But I can tell you, the year I had seems like it, you know, I should at least get about a 10x credit. So this should be my 10th year. Look, our greatest resource are you all. And when I look back over this last year, it's a reminder of how important the staff has actually been. It's students, as you all know, we're students first. Our students come and go, however, and many of them, because of the work of a number of you in this room, they go with an actual degree. And that's incredibly important. Not every institution can actually say that. Our students come here and they were kept safe through the efforts of a number of you all in this room. And not many institutions can say that. Our faculty and staff our faculty in particular, were able to do extraordinary things over the break, over the time that we've been out. Their research increased. Their overall productivity increased. They were able to flip from a traditional course instruction to an in-person instruction. That does not happen without all of you. And so I want to make sure that I am very, very clear in making sure that you understand that we know from whence our strength comes. And I want to just say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for what you've done over this past 18 months. It has not gone unnoticed. And I can tell you that the strength of our institution, and arguably the strength of our state, is actually better because of it. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Look, this event today, we honor individuals with 20 to 50 years of service, right? Faculty and staff. And then tomorrow, 5, 10, and 15 years of service. I know that these days, being in higher ed, dealing with the issues that we're dealing with are not easy. Wasn't easy over the last 18 months, and from what I can tell, it probably wasn't easy for 5 or 10 years before then either. But you all have made it through, and you are the reason that we're successful. And so I'm going to get off the stage now and move us on to the next portion of our program. Yes. All right. So I just want to thank you all, and thank you again for your support, and congratulations on your recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Washington. So listen, you all, I'm certain you look forward to this time each year. There is a tradition, and that tradition is for Dean Rick Davis and Linda Monson to actually perform some sort of musical selection. They are always very creative in what it is that they do. This year, what we thought we would do is to allow them to perform. This is an encore presentation. You all might remember Pandemic University. And this is something that they developed last year. So what we thought we'd do is present this as an encore, just so that you can kind of recognize where we are now, where we were a year ago, and the fact that we've moved to a place where we can all be here together. So let's take a look at what they actually put together last year, and hopefully you'll enjoy that again.
Hello, everyone. For the last umpteen years, Linda Monson and I have had the privilege and the pleasure of doing a little satirical song for this event. And since this is a year like no other, we're doing it in a way like no other. I have often walked round this school before, but there's never been a 6-foot distance rule before. And what does it mean when my phone turns green? I'm all clear here at Pandemic U. Teaching college has been my task before, but I never had to do it in a mask before. I stare at my class through a plexiglass now that I'm here at Pandemic U. And oh, that cavernous feeling when you're all alone in JC. There's no more ravenous feeling. There's no line for once in front of Chipotle. As I stroll the quad, robots follow me, 'cause I think they're only looking for some company. Let's have class outside, that'll turn the tide. Staying safe here at Pandemic U.
You know, that never gets old. They are so creative, so creative. So listen, as Dr. Washington mentioned, these 2 days, we're going to recognize those individuals who have been so committed to George Mason University. And again, we're going to honor those individuals with 5 to 50 years of service. And in recognizing all of those folks, we have 693 award recipients. And so throughout the ceremony, we're going to share some memories to highlight the unique experience that actually makes Mason Mason. And as we move into the presentation of awardees, we're going to call up everyone here today. Dr. Washington will be standing right here in front of the stage, and we're going to ask that you come up and greet him with whatever you're comfortable with, whether it's an elbow bump, fist bump, virtual high five, and take this opportunity for a photo. So you'll come right up front when your name is called. And we're going to also, for those of you watching the live stream, we're going to encourage you to share your congratulations with your friends and colleagues via the chat box. The comments will appear on live stream and on the monitors that you see here, right here in Dewberry Hall. So we also encourage all of you to actually visit serviceawards.gmu.edu/celebration page. So you'll have the opportunity to kind of share your comments as well. So there are a number of ideas that we've downloaded so that you can honor your colleagues as they're receiving their service milestones. And I think at this point, we are ready to get started. Are you all ready? All right. All right, so first what we're going to do is recognize those folks with 20 to 25 years of service. So I'm gonna ask our Chief of Staff, Ken Walsh, to come up, and he will begin our presentation.
Well, thanks, Lester. It's delightful to be here today. It's interesting to me this is happening on a day when people are saying that I'll serve the citizens of the Commonwealth because I say I'll be really good at it, and we're trying to pick which one. You all have been serving the students of George Mason University and through them our Commonwealth for more than 20 years, and it's delightful and a privilege to get to join you here today. So I'd like to start by honoring the 20-year recipients. Let's place that in context. That means they've been with us since the academic year 2000, 2001, when fashion was already pretty different and all that sort of stuff. William Reeder, one of our 20-year awardees from CVPA, had this to say about memories of that time period. My memories are many, but one that was really fun was the 2014 PBS filming of Daly and Vincent's live concert from the Hilton Performing Arts Center. There we were, a student orchestra, the Manassas Chorale, and Stars of Bluegrass, a triumph. Think of the many things that have happened over 20 years. So I'll invite the 20-year awardees in attendance to come up front as I call your names for a photo with Dr. Washington, as Lester just explained. So since my own last name starts with W, I'm very excited to call the first one who starts with, last name starts with an A in this sort of order, Heather Aleknovich. Laura Callahan. Evan Cantwell. John Crocker. Thomas Dykey. Chalky Friend. Marcy Glover. Pressure was on. Assad Khan. Barry Klinger. Just-in-time recognition for Samantha McClelland. I won't sing. Patricia Milan. Sana Sheikh. John Shortle. Masome Sikarudi. Rhonda Troutman. Hopefully she didn't leave now, yeah. Mohan Venegala. Stacy Virardo. And alphabetically last but definitely not least, Julie Zobel. Oh my goodness. Let's have a round of applause for all of our 20-year recipients. Okay, again, for context, our 25-year award recipients joined us in the 95-96 academic year. Gwendolyn Thomas, a 25-year awardee, passed on this memory. In 1996, I was part of the George W. Johnson Center dedication. Think about that. It was great to see a brand new building. In 2006, I rode with a crew to Indianapolis to see the GMU men's basketball NCAA Final Four appearance. It was great to be a part of history and something I will never forget. I think maybe we should have her go back to the Final Four this year. Please come up with Dr. Washington as your name is called and get your photo taken. Cynthia Bentley. Brian Davidson. Anthony Diaz. Roshonda Harris. Julie Hunt. James Kinter. Martha Martin. Michael Mock. Theodore McCord. Laura Miller. Suzanne Smith. Deborah Sprague. And Claire Talbert. Congratulations to all our 25-year awardees.
Thank you, Ken. One more round of applause to all our 20 and 25-year Service Award recipients. All right, so next, we'd like to bring up Carol Kissel, our Senior Vice President for Finance and Administration, and she will be recognizing our 30 and 35-year awardees.
Thank you, Lester. And like Ken and Dr. Washington, Provost Ginsburg, very happy to be here. It's a great event honoring the service that you have had for a very, very long time. Keeping with context, I think it's 1991 maybe, the school year that I'm going to be doing. So with that as it be, we now honor those 30-year award recipients who have been at Mason since the time frame, 1990, 1991, starting with a few words from Peggy Browse from the Volgenau School of Engineering. So Peggy says, there are many memories like hooding my PhD students at graduation and working with all of my students throughout the years. The most important memory I will take with me, however, is the creation of the first BS cyber security engineering program in the nation. It was approved by Chev in 2015 and had the first graduates in 2018. Currently, the program has now over 600 students. It's a great memory, Peggy. We remember that as well. So now I'd like to invite the 30-year awardees to come up with, as your name is being called, and get your photo taken with Dr. Washington. So the first, Miriam Cosme. Karen King. awesome. I don't want to be in that selfie. Okay. Virginia Mahoney. And Jerome Short. So let's hear it for our 30-year awardees. Now we're honoring those who have 35 years of service and came to the university when as the academic year in 1985 and 86. I think that was the year of the big hair. I don't know. But it was a long time ago. And we have this recollection from Joanne Carter in the Office of Sponsored Programs. One of my fondest memories is the day Senator Barack Obama came to campus and to promote his candidacy for president. As it turned out, it was an historic moment because he went on to become the first African-American president of the United States. Mason, being a part of the history, will stay with me forever. Great memory, great memory. So please come up as I call your name. Ulak Berry. Jeanette Blanchard. Yeah, it's hot, I know. I don't blame you. Joanne Carter. And Carla Hoffman. Let's have a round of applause for the 35-year awardees. Thank you.
Thirty, 35 years, that's a long time. Congratulations. Okay, and speaking of a long time, our next recipients have years of service that are of 40, 45, and 50 years. So we're going to have Provost Ginsburg come up and present to these awardees.
Well, this is indeed an honor. 40 years, 45 years, and 50 years, half a century. What an honor and what a privilege to honor our colleagues who've served this university for so long and with such distinction. Let me begin and invite Chris Jones to join me on the stage. Chris? Well, Dr. Chris Jones started his Mason career in August of 1980. 1980, Chris. And he began as an assistant professor of biology, having just completed his doctoral degree at the University of Wisconsin-Madison earlier that month. It said when he was offered the position here at Mason, he negotiated for a list of equipment, and it totaled somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000, I'm told. Is that right? Big bucks. Big bucks. Very Mason-like, too, I might say. But when he arrived on campus, he was told that the biology chair, who had gone on study leave, had already spent the money. The whole budget. He blew the whole budget. That's kind of Mason-like, I guess. Nonetheless, by borrowing equipment from the teaching labs, he was able to launch his research program. And toward the end of his first year, he got a small grant from a consulting firm on a project on EPA Clean Lake study of lakes Accotink and also Fairfax. And this provided supplies, I might say, and a project for him and his first graduate student here at Mason, which resulted in a publication that they shared. Well, his big break came in 1983 when he and a former Mason fish ecologist, Don Kelso, landed a six-figure project to study the ecology of Gunston Cove, a beautiful bay on the Potomac River, which receives treated sewage from the Fairfax County's Norman Coal Treatment Plant. And that was the beginning of a study that he has been conducting annually ever since 1983. The study is one of the longest-running, consistent longitudinal studies of the effectiveness of pollution control efforts in cleaning up the Chesapeake Bay. That's really impressive, and that's a big deal. The study has brought in several $1 million in research funding, trained over 100 students, and resulted in countless publications. As Chris's career progressed, he gained tenure and then promotion to full professor. Congratulations. In 2000, he became the founding chair of the Department of Environmental Science and Policy. A major goal, a research and teaching facility on the tidal Potomac River, was then achieved with the opening of the Potomac Science Center. And you've not been there. It's an absolutely beautiful place and a highly productive research facility. It's in Woodbridge, and that opened in 2017. It's a 50,000 square foot, world-class LEED silver facility. And the building houses 8 College of Science faculty, 3 engineering faculty, and it also has state-of-the-art labs with waterfront access. Please join me in congratulating our colleague Chris Jones, 40 years at George Mason University. Congratulations. And I'm delighted to also honor a second colleague who's also been at our university for 40 years. Unfortunately, she is teaching right now and unable to be with us. It's kind of poetic justice that Linda Miller is with her class at this very moment. Linda Gardner Miller is a professor in our School of Dance and a distinguished service professor. As director of the School of Dance, she initiated the guest artist residency program that brings top professionals in the field of dance, including 8 MacArthur Fellows, to work with Mason students each and every year. She advocated for the state-of-the-art dance studios that we now have for musicians and for technique classes and student performances in the concert hall that have been a hallmark of our dance education program, which parenthetically is considered one of the very top programs of its kind in the country. She served as the Senior Associate Dean of CVPA, the Faculty Senate Sergeant at Arms, and as the university's faculty athletic representative to the NCAA, the so-called FAR. Those familiar with the School of Dance are very aware how this program has evolved in the last 40 years, and as I said, it's one of the most esteemed and highly respected dance education programs in the United States. Linda shared this message that I'd like to read to you. Quote, "I would like to acknowledge all of my colleagues at Mason for their work in bringing the School of Dance to its current prominence, including those recently retired Elizabeth Price, Jim Lepore, and Marjorie Summerall. I'd also like to honor my colleagues who are no longer with us, Sue Collins, Alice Watts, and Andy Bernstein. Very much like Linda, to think of others at this time of great honor for herself. Thank you, Linda. Congratulations. And again, thank you, and a round of applause for both Chris Jones and Linda Miller. 40 years of dedication to George Mason. And I now have the honor of awarding our 45-year awardees. The first of our awardees also is unable to be with us today, but it's a real privilege and a delight to honor our colleague and good friend, Jim Bennett. Jim Bennett is an eminent scholar at George Mason University. He holds the William P. Snavely Chair of Political Economy and Public Policy in the Department of Economics and is director of the John M. Olin Institute for Employment Practice and Policy. Jim Bennett received his doctoral degree from Case Western Reserve University in 1970 and is specialized in research related to public policy issues, the economics of government and bureaucracy, labor unions, and health charities. He is founder and editor of the Journal of Labor Research and has published more than 60 articles in professional journals such as the American Economic Review, the Review of Economics and Statistics, Policy Review, Public Choice, and the Cato Journal. We sincerely thank Jim and congratulate him for 40 years of service, a dedicated and esteemed professor here at George Mason. Congratulations to Jim Bennett. And it's a wonderful personal honor now for me to invite Stuart Malaware to come up to the stage. Stuart? Oh, what's that? Okay. Stuart, I guess you're going to stand over here with President Washington. Sorry about that. Stuart Malaware is in the Schar School of Policy and Government. He holds a PhD from the Department of International Relations at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. He has a JD also from the Cornell Law School and the diploma from The Hague Academy of International Law. He also studied at the Harvard Law School and at St. Peter's College, which is part of Oxford University in the UK. He joined the law school faculty in 1977 after teaching at other universities for 9 years. He started teaching at the height of the Vietnam War, and in 1968, when he married his wife, Sandy, who he met while in high school, and Sandy is here as well. Congratulations to Sandy as well. He's been teaching global trade relations and international law at the Schar School for the last 20 years. He's been at Mason for 45. Professor Malaware was a member of the Virginia Governor's Trade Missions with Governors Warner and Kane to China, India, and Japan. He was awarded the Hardy Cross-Dillard Award by the Virginia State Bar and served as chairman of its International Practice Section and special editor of the State Bar's Virginia Lawyer. Stuart was recently appointed as the only American editorial board member, that's really impressive, of the journal China and WTO Review that's published in Korea. Professor Malaware was a gubernatorial appointee by Governor Kane to the board of directors of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, and also was appointed by Governor McAuliffe and reappointed by Governor Northam to the New Virginia International Trade Advisory Committee. Professor Malaware has had various government and private grants. One recently funded is a study by the Department of Defense in the state of Virginia on cybersecurity export markets. And he continues to serve as a council and board member at SCIT Labs, a spinoff from George Mason University. Stuart is also an affiliated faculty member of the National Security Institute at George Mason's Law School and is on the advisory committee of the Hayden Center for Intelligence and National Security at the Schar School. He's also an affiliated faculty member of the New Digital Innovation Work, the IDIA, here at George Mason. That is an Arlington-based project. Stuart served as the director and founder of the Graduate International Transactions Program at George Mason in the 1990s, when it became one of the largest master's programs, then with a headcount of over 400 students. And subsequently was named the Distinguished Service Professor of Law and International Trade, as well as the director of the Oxford Trade Program. By the way, this program is held annually for the last 10 years in partnership with Oxford and also universities in Geneva, Switzerland. Well, Dr. Malaware has done many things over the last 50-plus years. His focus has always been on teaching and interacting with students and keeping in touch with them wherever they are located, either here in Virginia or other places. And the Alumni Association has named him the Distinguished Faculty Member of the Year. And I can say he stays in great touch with all of us, and I regularly get messages from him with interesting things to read, which I really appreciate. But most importantly, he came to Mason when his two kids, Hillary and Greg, were very young. They often accompanied him to his night classes at the law school while Sandy pursued his career in marriage and family therapy, and eventually became a board member of the Virginia Board of Counseling, where she was appointed to that role by Governor Kane. They are now also in public service, as their kids are, as is their dad. One son is a senior attorney with the U.S. Department of Justice, the other at the U.S. Department of Education. It's a great privilege to recognize our friend and colleague for his distinguished service, Stuart Malaware. Well, now we're in for a special treat if we haven't had them already, and it's been a morning of special treats. Let me ask Jim Treffel to join us here as well. Jim Treffel is a distinguished professor here at George Mason. He's a Robinson Professor, one of very few, and a Robinson Professor of Physics. Jim Treffel is finishing his 50th year at George Mason. Jim is joining a small but prestigious group of our colleagues who have reached the 50-year milestone. And both Jane Flynn, a faculty member in the Department of Psychology, and Don Gallagher, who recently retired from English Department, who also were 50-year award service winners. It's a great privilege to recognize Jim, who's a terrific colleague and has been a terrific, terrific member of the university community for half a century. Rather than speak about Jim, we've asked Robert Hazen, a friend and a former or a fellow Robinson professor here at the university, to record a video in his honor. Robert is sorry that he couldn't be here in attendance, but he was happy, delighted, and thrilled to share his thoughts on Jim's career at Mason through this brief video presentation.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Hazen, former Robinson Professor of Earth Sciences, and it's such a pleasure to be able to acknowledge the contributions of Jim Treffel on this day. It's a little ironic that the first time in almost 2 years after the COVID lockdown that I've been traveling to a foreign country occurs on this day, but I appreciate the chance to pre-record congratulations to Jim Treffel. And I want to congratulate him for so many things. I mean, he is a great writer, prolific writer. He's a great educator, and he's a very influential friend to me. So the writing is just phenomenal. You know, I first learned of Jim Treffel through some of his influential books, general audience books, where he first, in the earliest days, in the early 1980s, talked about his love of physics, and books like The Moment of Creation, looking at the Big Bang and popularizing aspects of physics, were so influential and part of the millions of books that he's put out there for general public. The Dark Side of the Universe is another favorite. But what really impresses me about Jim is not that he wrote about what he knew best, the physics, particle physics, and various aspects of theoretical physics, but that he expanded out to talk about how a scientist can elucidate for the general public aspects of the natural world that you just see around us all the day. And he wrote this incredible series of books, Meditations at 10,000 Feet, A Scientist at the Seashore, one of my very favorite, A Scientist in the City, in which he looks at the kinds of things that are part of our everyday life. Some of them mundane, how a sewer system works, some of them spectacular, the sunset that just lights up the sky. And his point was, and I think this is very profound for an educator, the point was that you can look at these things and you can appreciate them and you can understand them at some basic level. But the more you understand the science behind what happens in the natural world, you can appreciate it at richer levels and deeper levels. And this is not going to somehow demystify things that are otherwise beautiful. And Jim made those points over and over and over again in important books. Now, of course, as an educator, where he really came to the front and where I first sort of took notice of this guy, Jim Treffel, was in his work on cultural literacy. Many people know the E.D. Hirsch book, Cultural Literacy. You may not be as familiar with the fact that Jim Treffel was one of the people who wrote the appendix to that. The idea here is very simple. There are certain ideas, there are certain concepts, there are certain facts that any educated person should know. That's true in politics and economics, it's true in philosophy, it's true in the arts, and it's true in the sciences. There are certain key ideas that you need to know and understand to be literate, to be educated, to be able to talk to other people about ideas. And they include things like the atom, the cell, the genetic code, thermodynamics, evolution. These are fundamental core ideas. There are great ideas in science. And Jim was, as far as I know, the first person to really tackle this head on and say, here are the things that every literate person needs to know. So that became the foundation for Jim's teaching. Jim was passionate about letting people who are not going to be science majors, they weren't going to go on to be physicists or chemists or biologists for a career, but they were going to have to live in a world in which physics and chemistry and biology really play important roles. And he said, well, what is the basic thing that everybody needs to know? What is the concept? How is science as an epistemology part of our lives? And then given that epistemology, what are the most important ideas that have stemmed from that? And so Jim began working on a course called The Great Ideas of Science. And it very simply just said, each week, let's explore one of these ideas, one of the most fundamental ideas that links together the natural world. Let's not talk about physics separate from chemistry and geology and biology and astronomy. No, it's all one epistemology, and it's all one way of thinking about the natural world. And so during that early period, when he came to George Mason to explore these ideas, that's when Jim and Harold Morowitz, another Robinson professor, contacted me and invited me to be part of this adventure. And so came new courses, came our book Science Matters, which sold a lot of copies and had a lot of influence. And it brought me into a world that as a scientist, a research scientist, I had never seen before. I was absolutely thrilled. I kept learning new things by teaching undergraduates the most basic science, but information that I had never put into a coherent, and it has had a huge influence on me. Jim Treffel, you have had a huge influence on me and my life through our writing, through our teaching, through our other interactions. It's been such a privilege. You are a giant in the field of science education, science philosophy. I am so impressed with the books you keep writing with Neil deGrasse Tyson and keep selling these huge, reaching such a big audience. You are a treasure. You are a treasure for the state of Virginia, for George Mason University, and I treasure our friendship. Thank you. Congratulations. May you have many more years of contributing great science to so many people, and best of luck to you. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much to Bob Hazen. Thanks very much to Bob Hazen. You know, Jim's dedication to our university is really unrivaled. At a lunch we shared the other day, we were talking about the future of the university, and I know firsthand his love for this university and what it is all about. It's now really a privilege to hear from Jim Treffel in his own words, a brief video that Jim was able to record recently. Jim, we'll have a look at your video.
I was at the University of Virginia, and I got a letter from Steve Diner, who was the vice provost at the time. The standard academic wedding dance that people go through. Mr. Professor, we got this position. Do you know anybody who'd be interested? And I looked at it, I said, yeah, I know somebody who'd be interested, me. George Johnson, who was the president at the time, was a really good recruiter. I can still remember sitting in his office, and he said to me, I'll promise you, if you come to Mason, you will never hear anyone say, we don't do things that way. And wow. So that's how I came here. One of the things that I value most at this university is the incredible diversity of our student body. In my history of science class, when I'm talking about the Islamic Golden Age and the Islamic contributions to science, I have the students read the Rubaiyat. Because Omar Khayyam was the guy who figured out how to solve the cubic equation. He was a major mathematician, but he also wrote poetry on the side. Well, it turns out one of the young women in my class spoke Farsi, and she could actually read the original. Not only that, her mother, who was a doctor, had as a hobby studying Persian, ancient Persian poetry. And so I got them to come and explain this to the class. It was something, you know, you couldn't do at most universities. Those kind of opportunities open up all the time here. The most important thing I did for George Mason was to chair the committee that formed the College of Science. This was a time when we needed to do this to attract research money and to become what we are today, a major research university. To see my students go out and a lot of them stay in touch with me afterwards, you know, and to watch them develop their careers, that's very satisfying. You feel like you've done some good in the world. This is a place where you can try new things. You can try new ideas, and it's okay if they fail. In fact, that's going to happen some of the time, and we've all got those, but you'll have your chance. You'll have a chance to do things that are different from what other people are doing.
Well, once again, join me in thanking Jim Treflo for 50 years and wishing him 50 more here at George Mason University.
So I'd like to blame this on Lester Arnold, but it's my mistake. So I'd like to also congratulate William Jackson for his 35-year service here. And he's in facilities, my organization, so welcome. Thank you.
Congratulations, William. I'm so glad that she owned that. This has been amazing. Let me first say congratulations to our 40, 45, and 50 award recipients. Congratulations. You are amazing, and again, we talked about what it is that makes Mason Mason. It's you. It's your commitment, it's your dedication, and your service to the university. So this event has been wonderful. As I mentioned, I am so glad that we're able to gather live. And I also want to say thank you and congratulations to all the recipients who were unable to join us today, and they're watching via GMU TV live stream. So congratulations to all of you as well, and all of those individuals watching to support your colleagues. So this is the first of many activities that we will be participating in as we move further and through and past this pandemic. Certainly happy that we're able to gather here today. Certainly appreciate all of you who decided to come out to support your colleagues. So one more round of applause for yourselves and for the awardees. So please take some time to recognize those individuals that were here today and being recognized for their service. And once again, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.